On the blue side of our planet, in a lonely patch of the Pacific, lies Rapa Nui, or Easter Island. It's a tiny, windswept place, home to the colossal Moai, stone giants weighing more than a 737. These figures, carved from an extinct volcano, are dotted all over the island. Now, new evidence is upending everything we know about the people of Rapa Nui and their mysterious stone statues. So, the long accepted story goes like this. Rapa Nui was once home to over 20,000 people, split into competing clans. Seeking to outdo one another, they built bigger and bigger Moai, cutting down the island's trees to build and move them. In just a few years, the forests were completely cleared. Without forests replenishing the soil, no crops could grow. With food running scarce, war broke out. Thousands died. The Moai were toppled, and only a few survivors remained. It's compelling, grim, and has been the dominant narrative for centuries. But it's wrong. Recent scholarship is painting a radically different picture of what happened on Rapa Nui. Researchers believe roughly 800 years ago, Polynesian peoples arrived on Rapa Nui. They brought food, including taro, banana, chicken, as well as the Polynesian rat. These new inhabitants quickly adapted to the island, clearing parts of the forest for agriculture, and the population expanded before levelling off at around 3,000 people. But the trees were never integral to the islanders' way of life. Over a few centuries, as a result of clearances for agriculture, environmental change, and rats scoffing on the seeds of the slow-growing palms, the forest did disappear. And the soil did suffer as a result. But the people of Rapa Nui adapted. By placing stones on the land, the earth was fertilised by rainwater, running off them and dripping their minerals into the soil. And food grew and was abundant. Over months and years they carved out Moai, stone manifestations of their ancestors, whom they believed kept them from harm. So, how did they move them? The clue is in their shape. Many have a forwards tilt. When ropes were tied around them, they could be rocked forward, much like moving a wardrobe, though walking them wasn't easy. To improve Moai's walk, songs were created whose chants time with their rocking. And these songs have been passed down in oral history to the descendants still living there. The Moai are testaments of the islanders' ingenuity and power to work together, skills that have helped them thrive for over 800 years. In fact, recent work has found that just 2% of historic skeletons show signs of violence, a level much lower than that of European skeletons from this period. Researchers are now beginning to see these giants as evidence of a harmonious, collaborative community. But there was a collapse. By 1868, only 111 people were left on the island, a fraction from just a century earlier, and the Moai were toppled or abandoned. However, recent research suggests this collapse wasn't a self-inflicted ecocide, but a human tragedy brought upon the people of Rapa Nui. Sea contact with the outside world brought diseases that killed hundreds, and slave raiders kidnapped thousands of inhabitants throughout the 19th century. In the face of such unexplainable devastation, perhaps the people of Rapa Nui pointed the blame for their suffering on their ancestors, frantically pulling down their Moai in the hope it would stem their perceived wrath or inability to protect them from disaster. Displacement, upheaval, and maltreatment of the surviving people of Rapa Nui continued long into the 20th century. But the indigenous people have survived and persevered. Today, many of the Moai have been restored. These monoliths are no longer symbols of greed and short-sightedness, but icons of resilience and a demonstration of the power of humans to collaborate and thrive, even on a speck of land on the blue side of our planet.